Okay. You weren't probably here for going through the hearing format that I read before. So, okay, I'll go through it again. Okay, how we run these hearings is I'll introduce the application. The Environmental Services Director will give the legal requirements. Then at that time, the applicant will present the justification for their request. Then the staff will present staff report and analysis. I'll open the hearing to public testimony and comments. I'll give more information on testifying when we reach that point in the hearing. We will take testimony both in favor and in opposition to the application. When testimony has been received, public testimony will be closed. The commissioners will begin their discussion of the proposal with possible requests for more information from the applicant. There will be a motion and a second with possible conditions. The commissioners will prepare findings of facts, and then the commissioners will vote on the proposed action. So our next hearing is a request from St. Louis and Lake Counties Regional Railroad Authority and the Knife River Heritage Cultural Center. Construction of a multi-purpose gathering space with a focus on the community's railroad history and Scandinavian culture through exhibits featuring the commercial fishing boat, Crusader II, and the Viking ship, ERIKSON, at 180 Marine Road, Knife River, Minnesota. So, Christine.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the application was considered complete on February 23rd, 2024. The legal was published in the North Shore Journal on March 8th. Notices were mailed out on February 29th to the applicant and on March 1st to the adjoining property owners, the auditor, assessor, recorder, sheriff, county health department, Lake County Board of Commissioners, the county administrator and attorney, county highway department, Soil and Water Conservation District, North Shore Management Board, and the Minnesota DNR hydrologist. We did not receive any correspondence regarding this after the notices were sent out. But what I do want to do is, for the Planning Commission members and others present, I just kind of want to recap again what the relevant criteria or standards are for a CUP based on the Lake County land use ordinance. Okay, so the Lake County Comprehensive Plan under the land use goal states support growth that is orderly and planned. Now, we also look at, the main things we're looking at is the zoning district. So that refers to the land area described in the ordinance, and it establishes the minimum lot size, setbacks, coverage requirements, and permitted uses. In this situation, we are looking at the R4 zoning district. Now, under conditional use, we've got general standards and criteria to follow. It's approved based on majority vote, of course, by the Planning Commission on written findings, and the following conditions that need to be complied with. So basically, there's safe and efficient access, off-street parking, and loading space. So we're dealing with parking and traffic. Will it comply with the hydrology and impervious surface requirements? That is referring to our erosion control, open space, density, topography, vegetation, and soil conditions are adequate. Stormwater control is addressed in that situation. Will not impact public waters during or after construction or impact wetlands without appropriate consideration. There we take under the shoreland requirements on our shoreland overlay in the ordinance. Adequate utilities, and that's where we address water supply, sewage treatment. It will not create potential health and safety, environmental, lighting, noise, signing, or visual problems. Those are the locations that we focus on noise and fire protection. Will it be detrimental to the rightful use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity, nor substantially diminish or impair values within the vicinity? And that's one of the places where we discuss concerns regarding trespassing. And then in the end, we're just confirming that it's consistent with the comprehensive plan. But however, what I want to make very clear, what is not relevant is the ideology or beliefs of the applicant. That is an irrelevant issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Okay. You have the floor.
Mr. Chair, if I might start, I'm Bob Manzelian with the St. Louis and Lake County Regional Rail Authority. I work for the Rail Authority made up of members from both St. Louis and Lake County. Currently, Commissioner Gutermont and Hurd serve on the board from Lake County, formerly by Commissioner Smith. And they own the railroad along with the Knife River Depot site. The site has been leased to the Knife River Heritage and Cultural Resource Group. The lease is for about 20 years. I think there's 18 remaining. Part of the condition of the what occurs on the property is up to the rail authorities, firstly, for their approval on what might be constructed there or what might be changed in the property. I think what's before you tonight, as far as I see, is a sketch that has been approved by the rail authority here. The Crusader building shown in the sketch, that has been previously approved by this board. It is under construction. I think what's before you tonight is the LEIF ERIKSON shelter itself. And here tonight is Paul Van Gors with the Knife River Heritage and Culture Center to speak to that development. I'm here to speak more for the rail authority, any rail authority questions pertaining to the property, particularly the restrictions we have in the lease that could affect rail operations out there. We've restricted use in a few things. Number one, if there were a siding put in, we gotta make sure setbacks and properties are, improvements are so located not to interfere with that, along with the maintenance track. This is coming in from the north, and those are both off the site. The limit of work seen in your packet. I know there's been some discussion about what those tracks will be used for. Currently, they're just planned to be used for railroad purposes. There has been a plan out there that's talked about storing red and breakfast, red and, I can't say it, red and
Bed and breakfast.
Stars. Thank you. That's just a thought. It's not part of this conversation. It's not part of what's occurring here tonight. So I just wanted to put that to rest. And I guess I'll turn it over to Paul. The rail authority does require that Knife River does acquire all permits and so forth before they begin construction. I think they've been through the process once already with you. So you're going through again to make these future improvements. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I'm Paul Van Gors, and I'm chair of the Knife River Heritage Center. September of 22, I appeared before this board for a CUP that was recommended by Christine here for staff. Two reasons. One, we're kind of a strange duck. It doesn't fit in any particular classification. It's a bar, campground, groceries, or what have you. It's a heritage center. That was one issue. And the second one, they needed more information. So many board members were there. So they said, we will just postpone this to a later date. Well, that's today. And the issues that they needed more information, one was a survey of the north boundary. That was questionable. But there was a survey existing, but we weren't comfortable with it. Parts missing. And so three of us, representing John Viking here, representing the Viking boat people, and we and Swan group all paid for the survey. We each paid for the visit. So we have that survey now. There's also issue with drainage because of the slabs we intend to put in and have put in for the two boats. Again, what we're doing is trying to restore two iconic boats. One is the Crusader, it's 35 feet, but that's pretty much done. We've got the slab in, the boat's been restored, looks fantastic. And thanks to IRRB grant of $30,000 earlier this week, we'll be able to build a shelter over it. The other is the Viking boat LEIF ERIKSON, which we kind of stole from Duluth. And John will speak to that. So that's what we have. We're going to restore and present two historic boats, and we want lots of green space between them for public use. And Commissioner Gutermont, who heads the county rec funds, did allocate $3,000 for us to maintain that open space. That open space is very important to us. The European folks last December put on a prop an 80-foot by 40-foot tent for the Lake County farmers market. So, and now we just learned about a month ago that on July 31st, there'll be 250 to 300 independent bankers coming to Knife River and the railroad. And they chose our site for their picnic, and they'll be here for a while on the evening of the 31st of July. So that's, the green space is being used already. We don't have any plans for it at all. So, what was I going here? Survey the drainage, that's what SOS, that Save Our Ship. John can address that. The other issue that the board had back in September of 22 what are the railroad authority's plans, and I think Bob just addressed those. So, that's what I have, and if there's no questions, I'll turn it over to John.
Mr. Chairman, councilors, I'm John Vegan, and I'm from Duluth, and I'm representing the LEIF ERIKSON ship. And I think you're all familiar with it when it was in Duluth. And over time, the city's structure determined that it was no longer to be in the LEIF ERIKSON Park, and it was put in storage. And there were a number of us that wanted to save the ship, where the name came from, but we didn't have a home. So it wound up in a warehouse for about 3 years until Paul approached us in late 2021 and said, you know, that might be a nice addition to what we're trying to develop up here. So we popped it on the trailer, pulled it up, and set it on the site. And that was just about the time that the last application was being made. So we weren't really part of that other than our name being inserted and on that. But once we started reading the response from the planning department and from the commission, we met and we backed up to square one and said, you know, the first thing we have to do here is decide what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. So we did have the property survey. Tony Lewis did the survey. It surprised all of us because we found that the actual property line was probably 20 to 25 feet where everybody thought it was. You can't judge where the lawnmower goes. That's not the property line. And so that was the first surprise. And then we met with the Lake Superior Soil and Water to address the issue of stormwater maintenance. We worked with them on a couple of committees and meetings, and we determined that we would have the site regraded, that we would put a swale along the north side, and that shows in some of the aerial photographs that you've seen as that black strip. That's a 15-foot wide by 200-foot long swale that's about 2 feet deep. And we started that with the Shoreview Natives did that project. And once we had our plan approved by the Soil and Water, we made an application for a grant to try to get some funding to do that kind of work. And we did get a grant to do that work, and we've been sharing those costs between the three of us, you know, as we moved along. That work is now completed, with the exception of the swale. We were flooded out last year with our 7 inches of water that we got in the latter part of the summer, so the plantings will be going in this spring, and the rest of the trees and shrubs will go back in also. We've had, as I say, Mike Austin do the grading, and Shoreview Natives doing that work. We, also in the packet, we've determined that the best location for the Viking ship will be triangulated between where the Crusader sets and the depot along the north property line. And just from a setback standpoint, that would be about 125 feet interior from the Marina Road. So we're not dealing with anything with that. And the highway engineer was out on site with us and said that's fine. And on the north property line, we set back 5 feet, then we started our swale, and then we have another 12 feet setback. So we're more than 30-some feet into the north property line to accommodate movement on the site and servicing the building sometime in the future, as well as access to the remainder of the site, you know, from a vehicle standpoint when different things are happening. Also in the packet will be Craig Ojard donated their engineering services, and we've just now received their engineering schematics for the slab. It'll be roughly 26 by 60. We have now contracted with a gentleman who's a timber framer. And there's a picture of, in the package, there's a picture of the French River Church just recently built a gazebo in their backyard. And the builder that built that is the person that's going to build our building. And so we're going to do a timber frame, open side metal roof. So all the buildings are going to have a certain commonality in design and trying to hold that. The only other thing that we have on the master plan, I should have skipped that, we had the master plan revised. SAS company revised that earlier this spring in '23 because we knew that the rail spur is something that may or not ever happen. And any rail cars that might be there may or may not ever happen. And so it was just confusing to what we want to do on our portion of the site. And so all of our development on that site is going to be westward from the depot. And the triangulated eastern part will just be open space until whatever the railroad decides they're going to do with that space. And that's kind of where we're at. So everything is in motion. To date, we have probably $40,000 expended on our site work and our swale. Part of that will be covered by a grant from that, from Soil and Water. And so we're on our way. We've accomplished, I think, quite a bit since the last time Paul was here and addressed all the questions that we thought we needed to or could address on a cooperative basis to get things done. There's still things that have to be done. As I say, the landscaping is not done yet. And we have to get our final slab in. Our intention from the Viking standpoint is that we are pouring the slab this summer. We have bids in on that. We have requests for grants in. If the grant does not come through, we have our own dollars to put that slab in. We'll move the boat over on the slab, and then we have to try to get some dollars to build a building. But that's kind of our process, and that's our schedule for our part of what's going on there. And so if there's any other questions of me regarding Viking ship, that's kind of how it goes.
I'm going to make a comment about community support. Yeah, Odyssey Resorts, we haven't heard very little from them over the years of what they're doing and so forth. But we did approach them, and they put out a challenge grant to their homeowners, the shareholders there. It's 150 of them, by the way. So they told the shareholders that Odyssey Resorts corporate would put in $5,000 towards the Heritage Center if those 150 shareholders would do the same, and they did.
Wow.
That's amazing. $10,000 I would have never thought, particularly, as I said, it just seemed like Odyssey Resorts was an enigma. Anyway, they want to be part of the community, the shareholders, their pension holders want to be too. I think that's just really a great endorsement from the lifeline community.
And I could follow up on that. One last comment is that the one issue that we are having as a Viking ship is that we don't have our model yet from our architect to show what the building looks like. And we don't have the slab with the building sitting, or the boat sitting on it. And once we do that, then we can start making our serious applications to the various sources for cooperative money and so forth. Right now, it's just kind of an idea, and they don't give you grant money on idea. You have to have some hard information. So that's where we are with our portion of the project.
Look for questions.
Well, we'll ask for, I'm sure we're going to ask for more information later to get into committee discussion. So I'll ask for the staff report and analysis of this thing.
Yeah, so I think that this one, they focus their, what they're going to do on site more this time around. And there's been significant work done with the stormwater and drainage. There are like a couple of questions still in my mind. Just there's like a picnic pavilion, so like garbage was an issue before, so I still wonder how that will be managed on the site. Also, just the interaction with the scenic railroad, that brings in a lot of people. It's hard to like divorce that from, just the Viking, just the ships and the exhibitions, like how are those gonna interact? just some issues to address are probably like what types of events are gonna be there. Are there any issues with traffic? Do we need to set quiet hours? Is there, are there issues with noise? Yeah, that's pretty much all I have.
If I could expand upon that.
Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so I know that there are numerous events that take place, and so I think it's important for us to know what those events are in general. I mean, not, the big ones, because I guess my question is, for the rail authority, do you sponsor any events?
Mr. Chair, no, we do not sponsor any events. They're coordinated with the Lake Superior Railroad Museum, who operates by licensed by the rail authority to operate the trains. So they would work on an event with these folks.
Okay,
They
so
could-
all the events are basically
Right.
with them?
With them.
Okay, I wanted to confirm that.
Sure.
Because like the Christmas tree one, I was confused because,
The initiative came from the railroad. Did we
Okay.
want to buy into it? Yes, sounds like a fun thing. We hired only Lake County vendors, which is what we do. Pay them.
no, and I understand, I guess I'm just trying to establish for the planning commission to understand that all these events are basically through this group and this CUP basically because, Ulabine, I know you will have people there as part of that program. And then you're saying you're gonna have 150 bakers out there?
250 to 300.
250 to 300, okay, I stand
Yeah.
corrected. That's a lot of people. I just want us to be able to kind of encompass some of these big events so that we can ask questions that pertain to that,
Sure.
okay? So yeah, the picnic shelter, I didn't know if that was gonna happen
No.
as a part of this. It's not
Let
happening?
me address it if I can. Being a conditional use permit and being the footprint that we're talking about for that application, we want to be sure that anything that wanted to be done anytime in the future might be shown on that. And so the only reason there's two buildings that I didn't mention. One was a picnic shelter, and I just forgot to mention that.
Right,
And that was just put on there to show that sometime in the future, and I don't know who's gonna have the money, but if they do, they have an opportunity to put that in, because there may be some small events there. For example, the LEIF ERIKSON, the only events that we have there so far would be, we had a joint picnic with the two harbors, Sons of Norway and the Duluth Sons of Norway. And I think we had 30 people. And so if we happened to be there on a day, like the day we were there, where it was raining and blowing, it would have been nice to have a picnic shelter. But we don't have the money to build it, but we wanted to show it on the plan. The other structure that's on there is a waterless compost toilet. And we have a design for it. SES did a design. So it gives us some storage space on the side as well as that. But those buildings are all dependent upon funding sometime in the future. But if we don't show them on a conditional use plan. then we
well, I
won't
guess
have it.
regardless, if you're gonna have 250 to 300 people, where are they gonna go to the bathroom?
Oh, we have satellite toilets, there's
Okay.
6 of them there.
I know who's gonna handle all the garbage, because that was a question.
They are. I made that very clear to the railroad. Any event the railroad does, there's no alcohol, they collect all the garbage and haul it back.
Okay, so whoever is handling
I
the
guess to be clear, when he speaks about railroad, that's the North Shore Scenic Railroad, the operator on the line, not the rail authority. We permit the North Shore Scenic Railroad to operate.
Okay, I just want to make sure everybody's understanding the differentiation between that, and who's responsible for what. And this is kind of reflecting the questions we had the last time you were here. We wanted to make sure that you had thought those through. And then I also, volunteer maintenance. So who's coordinating the volunteer maintenance?
That would be me.
Okay, so
That's
it's
me doing
all,
it.
basically, maintenance is being handled by your organization as
Correct.
well, by volunteers. Just want clarification. So, I just appreciate the opportunity to ask those questions, get a little bit more information.
Thank you.
Another reason we don't want a picnic shelter is the garbage issue. I'm not gonna have a garbage can on that property. You have to haul that out. If anybody is there. Not been an issue so far.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
We don't have any money for garbage.
You have something, Christine?
No.
Okay. Done the staff analysis? Okay. Okay, I'll open the hearing to public testimony and comments. Is there anybody that plans to speak to this issue? Oh, so we got a couple people. I don't think we have to really set a time limit on it, but you really, considering the lateness of the hour, I know at least one other person has sat in this chair up here, so. Whoever wants to go first. And I'll go through this. You're signed in?
Yes.
Okay. Testify from the podium so the commissioners are able to hear you, and the clear and accurate recording of your testimony is recorded. Address your testimony to the chair. Don't engage the applicant. Conversely, applicants do not engage the witness. Everyone who wishes to speak may do so once. We're not going to set a time limit, but knowing that you will not take advantage of us. Do not read testimony that has been submitted in writing. All commissioners have been supplied with both paper and electronic submissions and have had ample time to read those. And do not repeat what has already been said. Say you agree or share concerns with previous witnesses. Go ahead, John.
Scott Shellerwood, 218 Skiff Landing Road. As Chairman Hoops mentioned, I've been in that chair before. I'm still associated with the Planning Commission as an alternate member, but I am in no way in official capacity tonight. I'm also treasurer of the Knife River Rec Council, and a lot of my concerns kind of go more towards that. And I was here for that prior meeting, so I've got that history as well. Christine asked some good questions that were on my list as well, primarily the toilets and the picnic shelter. And I understand now that that's not going to be part of the initial plans. But that still leaves the question of the crowd sizes. I mean, 250, 300 people. What are you going to do with them? That's my concern. Where are they going to go? And my bigger concern is one of the places they are likely to go is right across the street and down to the Knife River Beach. And the Knife River Beach is supported by the Knife River Rec Council, not the Heritage and Cultural Center. And if we've got 300 people showing up and using the biffies and stuff, we're the ones that are going to have to be paying for that. And I had mentioned at the time of the initial proposal, you know, perhaps we can come to some kind of agreement on that as far as the railroad or the railroad authority or whomever helping us out with that when you need that. And we really have had zero conversation that I've been aware of. And like I said, I'm a board member of the Rec Council, so if something were happening, I ought to know about it. The other issue then with the parking is somewhat limited. 12 vehicles, I think, is what it showed on the site plan. There is parking available, again, right across the street in the Knife River Rec Council Beach parking lot. And one concern I raised at the prior meeting was if we run into overflow situations with the parking, what's to prevent people from going there, parking in that lot, and then preventing people who are coming down from using the beach to have a place to park. Additionally, I just got a budget submission earlier, and we'll be budgeting this week, so this is all real fresh news, for an additional $2,500 to improve our parking lot over there. So this isn't something that just happens. It's not just a field that people happen to park in. This is a parking lot that we maintain, we put up signage, and we provide biffies down there for guests at the beach. Other concerns with the crowds, you know, naturally noise. We have our normal noise hours, I'm sure, and I would hope that those would be enforced, but I would strongly urge that you do that. Then also then the lighting, security lighting, if that's planned for the boats, that will obviously have an impact on the neighborhood and even people further away. I'm on the other side of the river, and if that area was lit up, that would severely limit the nighttime views that I see out my front door. Little bit concerned about what we just heard tonight about the condos supporting this project. They're down in Larsmont. That's a number of miles away. I'm more interested in the people of Knife River, and the people who use that land, and the people that support that land, and the people that give their money to our rec council. And our charter is not to provide income generating opportunities for the railroad. Our charter is to provide recreational opportunities for the residents of the Knife River area. And if we're having to supply biffies or do more work on the parking lots because of a sudden influx of a trainload of people, well, now we're spending money, our money, the money that's been donated to us, and the money that we've earned through our events on things that are outside of our charter. A couple of things here that Christine could, fire pits. Is there a plan for any fire pits on that area? Because they're already talking about no garbage. And I know Chairman Hoops has been involved with the campgrounds and stuff up here for a number of years, and you know darn well what happens if there's no place to put garbage, but there is a spot for a fire. That garbage is going to end up getting burned. So I really hope we don't have any kind of fire pits available. We have concern, if we have concerns, something going on, noise, property destruction, naturally we need to have a contact person. And also the composting toilet capability, I'm curious about that. I'm not familiar with those. And I'm wondering just what the capacity is, how many people can these toilets serve safely? And the other things have all been covered. Thank you for your time.
May I respond to Scott? Or no?
We're all taking notes, we'll
Okay.
cover this later. Okay, thank you. And somebody else that wanted to testify.
Patricia Engel, Meyer. I am an owner of two properties, 292 America Dock Road, which is just down the road, past the sewer at the very end of America Dock Road. My family's had a cabin there for 70 years. And then we also have a house at 282 East First Street that we built 8 years ago when we moved up here permanently. I couldn't tell from what we got, from the pictures that we got, exactly what was going on now. Some of it has been explained. It's still very, very vague. A lot of things are very, very vague about what's going on there. I think one of my main things is the number of people who are coming in and using that spot, and coming down using our beach. And we have signs posted that say all the things you're not supposed to do, but still people do things because there's nobody there to sort of watch over it. That's not one, but the other one that I don't understand why, with the plans that they have ongoing with this, that they don't have to have sewer hookup. That it can be just biffies for 300 people coming in, and
Toilets on a train, too.
Paul?
Sorry.
yeah, but that's people are going to be using that space, and not necessarily just trained people are going to be coming in and using that space. I just don't understand why, when we have sewer hookup available, they don't have to have sewer hookup. And I think that what they've done so far with the Heritage Center is wonderful. I'm glad that when we drive to our cabin, we don't have to see this rundown, falling apart train station anymore. It's beautiful. It is bringing more people to the Knife River, and that can be good and bad depending on what happens. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.